credit man.
Hey credit man. Hey credit man. Hey credit man. Hey credit man. Hey credit man. Credit man. Credit man. Hey credit man. Credit man.
All right, like I said, y'all know who I am, doing the Credit Man. This is another episode of Credit Talks. Y'all know I come here every single week to discuss a different credit-related topic. I was actually over Atlanta over the weekend. I didn't go live last week. I was supposed to go live, but I didn't go live last week. Had some business I had to handle out there. But I appreciate all y'all for tuning in again. Y'all know who I am, doing the Credit Man. It's another episode of Credit Talk. I know you're probably wondering, how do I get to go live every single week? We could discuss a different credit-related topic. Well, here's my credentials. I'm the owner of Reid Financial Solutions, which is a credit repair company. I'm also part owner of Reid Tax and Business Services, which is our tax company. I'm also part owner of SM Properties, which is our real estate company. That's where we have our apartments and our rentals through. And I'm also part owner of one more. Reid Exotics, which is our car rental company. So this is why I'm able to come and talk about these different topics every single week to you guys. I'm also a best-selling author for my first and only book, Understanding Credit. I'm actually going to start working on my second book soon. But Understanding Credit, that's my book, available on Amazon if you guys want to check it out. It was #1 on the hottest new releases, and it also got to #8 on the top 100 or something like that on a billboard, whatever they call a book billboard. So I did a couple things, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all tuning in, so let's get into it. So today I want to answer the age-old question. Should you get the store credit card? Now, you hear a lot of things online. You hear a lot of credit gurus telling you what to do, and a lot of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. So we're going to get into it and explain how it actually works when you get a store credit card. I'm trying to understand why this thing's so bright. There we go. So we're going to talk about the store credit cards, how they actually work. Is it a good idea to have store credit cards? And, we can go from there. So let's get into it, man. So, like I said, if you guys can hit that share button, that'd be dope. Let the people know we live. Let me turn this heat off because it's getting hot in here. All right, cool. So let's get into it. So first things first. Should you get the store credit card? So my answer is going to be yes and no. And here's the reason why. Let's start with the no's, right? This is why I usually tell people don't get the store credit card. And let me explain to you why. A lot of times the store credit cards require a strong credit score, right? So if your credit score is not that strong, if your credit score does not... This thing started moving? That's crazy. Just turn towards me and then shut up. All right. So again, my answer is yes and no. And let me explain to you why it's yes and no. So let's start with the no's, right? So like I said, with the no's, the problem with the no's is this, right? Store credit cards usually require a decent credit score. What's a decent credit score? Maybe 650 or higher, 640 or higher, right? So if you know your credit score is under 640, don't even attempt to get this store credit card. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with an inquiry on your credit report. You're going to drop a couple points, right? Your score is already low. You're going to drop a couple points and you're not going to get the credit card, right? Not to mention you might end up embarrassing yourself. If you stand online and they be like, hey, do you want to get this credit card? And you say, yeah, knowing you don't got the credit and you get denied. You just got denied in front of all these people that's standing behind you, especially during the Christmas time. Y'all know these stores are crazy right now, right? So if you know your credit's not strong enough, don't even try to get those credit cards. Usually the store credit card is what you get after you start rebuilding your credit. You can either use those store cards to help rebuild your credit, or if it's a higher end store like, Nordstrom's, Macy's, one of these stores that you can actually get a nice credit line through. Because for instance, I have a Macy's credit card with $30,000 on it. I have a Macy's Amex. I have a bunch of different Macy's cards. I love Macy's because it's like a one-stop shop for everything. It's the only place you can go to and get a suitcase and a pack of t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Besides like Target and them. So that's why I love Macy's. So I have a couple credit cards for Macy's. I have a Macy's furniture card. I got a couple different cards. But if you know your credit's not strong enough, don't even try to get that. Don't even try to get those credit cards, right? And that's one. The second no is if you actually care about interest rates. The interest rates on the store cards tend to be a little higher, even though credit cards in general have high interest rates, but the store credit cards tend to be a little higher. Now you might be asking yourself, why are the interest rates higher? Because it's only for that one store. Now, what's the chance of you paying back a bill for one store versus a credit card that you can go all over the place for, right? So that's how the companies are going to look at it. So the interest rates are going to be a little higher. So they can be as high as 30% in some cases. You know what I'm saying? So if you actually care about the interest rate, if you carry a balance on your credit cards from month to month, I'm going to go ahead and tell you no. Because you're going to be paying a lot of interest. So let's say you did go to Macy's and you bought let's say a Nike jumpsuit, outfit or whatever, and it was $120 and you want to pay, that $19 a month, you're going to end up paying double, maybe triple for that outfit by the time you're done paying for it because of that interest rate. So I always tell people, if you care about interest rates, if you carry a credit balance every single month, I would say no. Now, Is there any other no's? And not to mention, then one more no. If you only shop at that store for that one time, you don't plan on coming back and usually don't shop there, I would say don't get the credit card at all. Don't get the credit card again, because what's going to happen is, again, you're going to end up running your credit. You're going to end up, let's say you get the credit card, you're going to end up using that credit card. Then that credit card is going to sit on your credit report. Now, you might say, oh, it'll help me rebuild. It'll help me to build. Yeah, it can. But you got to use it and pay it, use it and pay it, use it and pay it. Now, let's say you go to the store, you spend $50. The bill comes, you pay 25, you pay 25. You know what I mean? After a certain amount of months of it having no transaction, they're going to end up closing that card on you. First thing they're going to do is lower your limit. Let's say they give you 1,000. They might lower it to 100. Then they're going to end up closing that card. So that can actually hurt you in the long run, right? So I would say if it's a store that you don't really shop at, I would say don't even get the card. You know what I mean? Use the cash, get up out of there. Unless, now this is one of my yeses. We're going to start with the yeses now. Unless they tell you, hey, we're going to give you 20, 30, 40, 50% off of your bill if you get this credit card. That's when I tell people, get it. Now, here's the reason why I say get the credit card in that case, right? Now, let's say, for instance, I gave an example a couple years ago. My wife goes school shopping every year around August, September, you know what I mean, for the kids. And we go to JCPenney every single year, right? We go to JCPenney and Macy's. Now, here's why we go. When you get to the line, they always got a crazy offer on the credit card because they know a lot of people are buying clothes at that time, right? So we get online, they go say something like, hey, do you want to get this credit card? We're going to give you, last time we were there, they offered us 40% off if we got the credit card. The bill was $600, right? That's how much the bill was. By the time we did everything we did, got the credit card, I think she paid like $391 on $600 worth of clothes. So in that case, I'm always going to tell you, yes, get the credit card. If you can get it, I'm always going to say yes to get the credit card, because you're going to save yourself all that money. And then when the bill comes, you just pay the money you was going to spend anyway, right? But you got to be disciplined. If you know that you're going to go to the store and swipe $600 on your debit card, and they say, hey, we're going to give you this credit card and knock off 40%, you already have the money on your debit card to pay that bill back in full. Pay it and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Boom, you just saved yourself a whole bunch of money. Or you can pay it over time. I wouldn't suggest you pay it over time because, again, they're going to apply that interest to it. So I would just pay it all off and every now and then drop it in and buy yourself something just to keep the card going. You know what I'm saying? But that's why every single year we go to JCPenney and Macy's, because they offer these crazy discounts just by applying for the card, right? So like I said, last year she got 40% off. In that case, I would say yes. If it's a store you go to all the time, and again, they have incentives, you know what I'm saying? Like they have special sales that you get just for having the card, like Macy's. If you go to Macy's and you buy certain things, they'll tell you, hey, if you got the credit card, you get an additional 10% off. You get the Macy's reward points that rack up as you shop at Macy's. If they give you all these perks, they're pretty much paying you to keep that card. You get that card and you keep that card, right? But like I said, only certain stores I would say yes. If they just give you a card with a discount, I would say use the card, get the card for the discount, and then don't use it again. You know what I'm saying? But I like stores like Macy's, JCPenney. They constantly sending you like coupon books. Hey, save 20% of your next offer, and if you use your card, you get an additional 5% off. Oh, you got Star Rewards. Last time I went to Macy's, I had $50 in Star Rewards. So I ended up using that to buy my son. My son wanted a quarter zip, and I ended up buying him the quarter zip with the $50 in rewards. You know what I'm saying? All because I had these credit cards. But this is what I'm telling you guys. If they give you incentives to have these cards, then you go ahead and get the card. But again, remember the interest rate. You don't want to carry a balance on these cards. You know what I'm saying? The most you want to carry a balance is maybe 2-3 months and pay it off. For instance, like you go to a store like Best Buy. They don't really offer a lot of incentives to have that Best Buy card, right? But if you want, let's say you want to finance a new entertainment system. You want that TV. You want that sound bar, right? You might want the surround sound to go around your couch. You know what I mean? You might want that speaker system for your house. You know what I mean? You might want that electric bike they got in the showing off, that new electric bike they got sitting there. You might want all of that. You can get the credit card, finance all of that stuff. They'll give you, hey, we'll give you a year, 0% interest. You know what I'm saying? In that case, I'll get the card. But once that year is up, there's no perks to using that card, right? And while we're on the topic of 0% interest, let me explain to you guys how 0% interest works. I've been seeing a lot of you guys getting bamboozled by these credit gurus that's telling you to get all this funding and take the money off the credit card because it's 0% interest, use it to buy and fix and flip houses and blah, 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 blah. Let me explain to you how that works, right? When you get a credit card, right, and it has 0% interest on it, it really has 0% interest on it. You can take that money off the card, go do whatever you want with it. But here's the catch, right? If it's 0% interest for 12 months, on the 11th month, the 31st day at 11:59, if that full balance isn't paid, let's say, for instance, you pulled off $5,000 off that credit card, right? And it's the 11th month at 11:59 p.m. It's about to be 12 o'clock. And you owe $5 on that card from that $5,000 that you pulled out. They're going to charge you interest for that $5,000 for the entire year. So soon as you blink at 12 a.m., that $5 that you got left on there is gonna cost you an additional $8, $9, $1,000 is gonna be dropped on top of your card, all because you didn't pay it off before that 12 months time. So stop listening to these gurus that's telling y'all, just get the card and pull the money off. It's gonna be all good. No, if you cannot pay that money back, you're gonna get hit for that interest. You're gonna get hit hard for that interest. This is why I tell people, be careful with those 0% interest, and when they give you that, make sure you're able to pay off whatever you got to pay off. Let me tell you what I usually do, and I did this when I bought my Rolex, right? So my first year, when I had my first Rolex, my wife actually bought my first Rolex for me, right? And the next year I had such a good year, I went and bought myself a Rolex. So they said, hey, we're giving 18% no interest, 18 months no interest, right? Or they were giving 24 months 2% interest, or 3%, something like that. So I chose the 24 months at 3%, right? And what I did was I divided the price of my watch by 23. Now you might be saying, why did I do 23 instead of 24? Because again, I don't want that day to catch me and I still have a balance. So I divided it by 23, and every month I paid, I think it was like $600 a month or something like that. And I ended up paying that watch off before they able to hit me for that interest. So that means that I got that watch for the same price I paid in the store. I got the credit card for it, and they didn't get nothing off of me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that ended up working out for me. So that's why I always tell people, if you have that 0% interest for a certain amount of time, make sure you pay it off. Now I want to show you guys how cash advances work. That's how they get you on top of that, right? Now say for instance, you have 0% interest, right? And you take a cash advance off of that card. That's a separate interest rate. And how does that work, right? Now, let's say for instance, you have 0% interest for 18 months. You take a cash advance off that card, right? Now you got to remember, it's 0% interest, but that cash advance has its own interest rate. So let's say for instance, the 0% interest rate if you actually swipe the card, there's no interest. But that cash advance could be 30% interest, right? And how does that work? Now, let's say for instance, you swipe the card, you rack up some bills on that card, right? As you're making that monthly payment, that money doesn't go towards the cash advance. That money goes towards the initial 0% interest money. And here's how it works. In order to pay off the cash advance, you have to pay off the 0% interest stuff first, right? Now, this is the trick how they do it. I'm going to break this down to you guys. So look at a credit card that's having two sides. This is your swiping the card. This is your cash advance. This has a 0% interest for 18 months. This has a 30% interest rate. You take a cash advance off that card, you're now working under that 30% interest rate. But let's say you swipe this card a couple times. Let's say you put $100 on this card, right? And you want to pay off the $5,000 you took off the cash advance. You have to pay off $5,100 in order to get to this. So you got to pay off that $400 first, then you get to pay off that $5,000. That's how that works. A lot of people don't really understand that cash advances is separate from your actual credit card. That's why they'll tell you, hey, your limit is $500, but your cash advance is $2,500. That means that you can take $2,500 off that card. It's a separate interest rate. So remember that. When these gurus are telling you to take money off these cards, understand what you're actually getting yourself into. I know a bunch of people that got jammed up listening to these gurus, and now they owe all this money. They got all this credit card debt, and they can't get it out because they getting hit with the cash advance, and they getting hit with that 18% no interest. And they didn't realize the interest gets backdated, right, from day one when you first got that card. So whatever transactions you did, they automatically apply interest rates to all that transaction, and it dumps on your card. Now, how did I find this out? I found this out the hard way, which really was the easy way, but I found out the hard way. Here's what I did. And I told a story a couple times. I went to Macy's and I bought some furniture. When I bought some furniture, they said, hey, this furniture, I bought the power couches that go up and down, right? They said, oh, you get 18 months, no interest. Got you. Again, did the calculation, 17 months divided by the balance, set up my auto pay, automatically takes it out the account, and every single month it pays it. So by the 18th month, my balance should have been zero. I got a bill in the mail. They gave me $850 worth of interest. I'm trying to figure out where's this money coming from. So I called, hey, I paid this. You guys gave me 18% no interest. I paid it off. Why is my bill $800? Oh, well, you still had a balance on your card. I said, how? She said, oh, you went to Macy's on this day and you bought this. You went to Macy's on this day and bought this. I said, no, I have a furniture card with you guys. This is what I bought my furniture on. What happened was when I go to Macy's, I never have my card. So what I do was I have them look up my card, right? So when I go to the desk, they all automatically have my card on file. For some reason, they took my furniture card and put that as my main card. So what ended up happening was they were actually charging my furniture card every time I went to Macy's, whatever. So the lady on the phone was like, look, I can help you out, but this is what you got to do. You have to pay off the money you put on the card. If you paid it off today, I'll waive the $800. So I paid, it was like $220. So I paid the $220, paid it off. They waived the $850 worth of interest that they added to the card. But that's how I found out how that worked. Because I had no idea. I thought they apply interest on whatever's left. No, they apply interest on the entire thing from the whole time. You see what I'm saying? So I ended up learning the hard way, even though I didn't have to pay for it. It ended up working out for me. Just understand that's how that works. And that goes with store cards, that goes with credit cards, it doesn't matter, right? So again, we gotta stop listening to these credit gurus that's telling y'all all this nonsense that don't make any sense, right? All this money that they want you to get, you have to pay back. All these loans they want you to take out, you have to pay back. When you get funding through these gurus, if you get 100,000, they're gonna take 10 to 15 to 20% of that money. You have to pay that whole 100,000 back. So they took a chunk of your money. You only got 80,000. Let's say you got 100,000, but you only got 80,000 in your account. Now you got to pay back 100,000. They took 20 and they out of there. That's how that worked. You know what I'm saying? So you got to stop listening to these gurus when it comes to these credit cards and 0% interest and all this nonsense they be telling y'all. Because what they be telling y'all is how to get jammed up 101. That's what they be telling y'all, right? Especially when it comes to flipping houses. Flipping houses is hard. I've been in real estate for years, and I can tell you guys, flipping houses are not easy. They make it so you just go buy a house, fix it up, sell it, it's all good. Doesn't work like that. Especially when you got to get permits, when you work with GCs. You got to work with different contractors for different things. Then you got to work with the town. They come do their inspections when they feel like it. They fail you when they feel like it. They give you the paperwork when they feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to go through the home sale when you're trying to sell it. You know what I mean? Then you're dealing with the town. You're dealing with a buyer. You're dealing with a lawyer. You're dealing with realtor. You're dealing with a lot of people. So there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. We didn't even talk about the construction. I can tell you guys about construction. I done redid a couple of my houses, and the price always goes like this. It always starts here, and then it goes like that. Because they end up finding things that they didn't know. Once they knock the walls down, they start seeing things they didn't know was there. So that's how that works. You know what I'm saying? But gotta stop listening to these gurus, man. So again, if you go on Christmas shopping and they offer you a credit card with perks on it, and another thing is, if they offer you the card that actually has the Visa logo, MasterCard logo, where you can use, like for instance, Walmart used to have a Capital One credit card that you can go to Walmart and you can swipe anywhere with that card because it had the MasterCard. Now Walmart had the Walmart card you could only use at Walmart, but if you had real good credit, they gave you the Walmart card with the logo on it. You know what I'm saying? That you could swipe anywhere. Joe, what's going on, bro? You could swipe anywhere. So that's the card that I would suggest that you get. So if you go to Macy's, make sure you go to Macy's, make sure it got that MasterCard on it, make sure it got that Amex logo on it. I don't think they offer Visa with Macy's, but if they do, get it. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can use these cards anywhere else outside of Macy's. You're not just stuck at Macy's. So if in that case, if they have the card that have the MasterCard or Visa logo on it or Amex, I would take that over the other card because again, you can go anywhere with it. Even though I only use my Macy's cards at Macy's. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, but like I was saying, if you do get the store card, you do not want to carry a balance. Get that balance out of there. Do not carry a balance on that store card. Try to pay it down. But I've heard credit gurus say, oh, when you get those store cards, it don't help your credit, blah, blah, blah. It acts the exact same way as a credit card on your credit report. People don't understand this, right? When you get a card on your credit report, this is how it acts. It takes the limit, it takes the balance, it adds it to your debt to credit ratio, it does the calculation, it comes up with a score. It looks at your payment history, it comes up with a score. All credit cards work that way no matter what the credit card is. But if you have a credit report and you got Amex Chase, your credit report just looks better. But it's the same impact no matter what the name of the card is. Like for instance, certain credit reports don't even tell you when a card is a secured card. Now you have certain credit reports that tell you, hey, this is a secured credit card. And this is why I tell people I don't waste my time getting you a secured credit card because I don't want you to go try to buy something or try to get a mortgage or whatever and it says secured credit card on the mortgage. Or a lot of people like to just buy a bunch of trade lines and put on their credit report and don't have their own credit card and it just says authorized user, authorized user. They can see this now, right? So that's why I tell people build up your own credit. Don't rely on authorized users. Don't rely on trade lines. Trade lines can come in very handy if you need them, though. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying you want to build up your credit score organically. You don't want to worry about trade lines. You don't want to worry about secure credit cards. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't want no secure credit card. I don't want none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, if you're going to carry a balance, I wouldn't get those credit cards because the interest rate is super duper high unless it has like an 18-month no interest. Then you can take advantage of that. But make sure you pay those cards down. Again, and when you're doing the math, if they tell you 18, if you want to finance something for 18 months, right? And you put on the credit card, when you do the math, the monthly payment should be whatever is at 17 months. You want to pay it off before the 18-month hit. If the 18-month hit and you still have a small balance on that card, I don't care if it's $3, you're going to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys got any questions, let me know. If not, I'm going to get up out of here. But like I said, I appreciate all y'all for tuning in, man. I think next week, let me see what we got next week. Is it Christmas Eve next week? Yeah, next week is Christmas Eve, but I think I'm still gonna go live. I'm gonna go live Christmas Eve, and then we can get into this tax. You know what? I'm gonna go live next week, and we can discuss this tax. Maybe we can discuss some taxes next week. You know what I mean? And the next one after that is gonna be New Year's. I probably won't New Year's Eve. I probably won't go live that day. But you know, we'll see how it go, and then we'll be back the 7th. Or I might take off next week too. I might take off the next 2 weeks and just come back next year. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know though. But if you guys got any questions, go ahead and let me know. If not, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. You know what I mean? Let me see. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all know who I am, Dwayne the Credit Man. This is another episode of Credit Talk. And again, if you guys want to check out these full episodes of Credit Talk, I've been loading them on my YouTube. So please hit my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube. You know what I mean? We have 400 subscribers now. Super excited about that. I literally had like 22 subscribers a year ago. Now I'm up to 400. So I'm trying to get to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Y'all know who I am, Dwayne the Credit Man. It's another episode of Credit Talk. Thank you for joining.